Dear listener, welcome to Echoes of the Steppe. Today we will talk about golden rain over the sky of Samarkand, the jewel of the Silk Road. Long before the modern world existed, there stood a city whose beauty amazed every traveler who entered its gate. That city was Samarkand, the shining jewel of the Silk Road. Merchants, scholars, craftsmen, and ambassadors from distant kingdoms gathered beneath its magnificent blue domes. Yet hidden behind this glorious city was a love of stories that, according to legend, will change the fate of an empire forever. At the center of this empire ruled Amir Timur, known across Europe as Tamerlane. His army marched from India to Anatolia, conquering kingdoms and bringing immense riches back to Samarkand. His authority seemed unshakable, and few imagined that love, not war, could one day threaten everything he had built. Following another victorious campaign in Persia, long caravans of soldiers returned home. Alongside wagons filled with treasure came prisoners captured during the war. Among them was a young pregnant woman whose destiny would unexpectedly become part of Samarkand's greatest legend. Soon after arriving in Samarkand, the young woman gave birth to a daughter. The child possessed extraordinary beauty from the very beginning. No one could have imagined that this little girl would one day capture the hearts of princes and generals alike. Years passed and the child grew into an elegant young woman. She mastered music and dance until her performance became famous. Throughout Samarkand, noble families spoke of her grace, while poets compared her movement to a flight of birds. One evening, Amir Timur hosted a magnificent feast inside his palace. Noble military commanders, foreign ambassadors, and scholars gathered beneath glittering chandeliers. As the music filled the grand hall, the young dancer stepped gracefully before the great guests. Among the honored guests sat Amir Seyfuddin, one of Timur's oldest companions and most trusted commanders. The moment he saw the young dancer perform, he was captivated. Her beauty and elegance touched his heart more deeply than any victory on the battlefield. A joyful marriage. Before long, Seyfuddin asked for her hand in marriage. Their wedding became one of the happiest celebrations in Samarkand, and many believed the aging commander had found a new reason to smile. Even Amir Timur was pleased to see his loyal companion happy. Far from Samarkand, Timur's grandson Khalil Sultan had earned fame as a fearless warrior. After successful campaigns, he returned home covered in honor and glory. Citizens welcomed the young prince with cheers, believing a bright future awaited him. Not long after his return, Khalil Sultan visited home of Emir Seyfuddin. There he met the beautiful young woman. The moment their eyes met, time itself seemed to stop. According to the old legend, the single meeting will begin a chain of events that will one day shake the Timurid Empire. After that first meeting, Khalil Sultan could think of nothing else. Day and night, the image of the beautiful woman filled his mind. Though she was already the wife of Emir Seyfuddin, the young prince could not silence his heart. According to the old Samarkand legend, fate brought them together again and again. Their conversation became longer, their feeling deeper, until both realized that they had fallen hopelessly in love. The young woman knew the dangers that surrounded them. She was the wife of one of the Timur's closest companions, while Khalil Sultan was the grandson of the mighty conqueror himself. Their love carried the weight of disaster. Love proved stronger than fear. Then couple decided to leave everything behind. They would escape together, no matter what punishment awaited them. Before dawn, the lovers disappeared into darkness beyond Samarkand's walls. By sunrise, the city awoke to shocking news. The wife of Emir Seyfuddin had vanished with the emperor's own grandson. When Amir Seyfuddin learned what had happened, his heart was broken. According to the legend, grief consumed the one of proud commanders, whose final days were filled with sorrow and silence. The news soon reached Amir Timur. The ruler who had conquered kingdoms could forgive many things, but betrayal within his own family was not among them. His anger echoed throughout the palace. The old legend says that Timur ordered the young woman to be executed after the birth of her child. The decree stunned everyone at court, including members of the royal family. Moved by compassion, Bibi Khanim pleaded for mercy. She hoped that kindness might soften Timur's heart and save the young woman's life, but destiny had already chosen another path. Also, the lovers remained remained together, peace never returned. Suspicion spread through the court. Powerful nobles chose sides, and the stability of the empire slowly began to crack. According to the legends, this was the first step towards the golden reign that will later become famous throughout Samarkand. Year passed, and the mighty Amir Timur prepared for another great military campaign, but fate had other plans. During the journey east, the conqueror fell gravely ill. In the winter of 1405, the ruler whose name had shaken the world breathed his last. His death marked the end of an era and the beginning of uncertainty throughout the empire. News of Timur's death spreads across Central Asia like wildlife. Princes, governors, and generals all realized that the empire now stood without its powerful ruler. Whoever reaches Samarkand first might claim the throne. Khalil Sultan was the closest to Samarkand before the other prince could arrive. He entered to the capital and declared himself the new ruler of the Timurid Empire. Many welcomed him, believing the grandson of Timur would continue his grandfather's greatness. The woman for whom Khalil Sultan had risked everything now stood beside him as queen. According to legend, she became the most influential woman in the court. Day after day, her advice shaped the young ruler's decisions. Also, the empire remained vast. Its problems quickly became impossible to ignore. Soldiers demanded payment. Governors questioned the new ruler's authority. The royal treasure, once overflowing with wealth, began to empty. According to the famous Samarkand legend, Khalil Sultan chose an extraordinary solution to reward his soldiers and win the loyalty of the people. Gold coins were thrown from the balconies of Timur's magnificent blue palace. Thousands rushed into the streets to gather the glittering treasure. This unforgettable spectacle became known as the Golden Reign over Samarkand. Gold closed its value, but endless generosity carried a heavy price. The more gold filled the market, the less valuable it became. Merchants grew uncertain price for rose, and confidence in the empire slowly faded. The legend said that the merchants packed their caravans and left the city. Skilled craftsmen sold saffron land. Streets that had once echoed with trade and celebration became strangely quiet. Far beyond Samarkand, Timur's son and grandson watched these events with growing alarm. They believed Khalil Sultan had dishonored the legacy of the empire. Soon powerful armies began marching towards the capital. Dark clouds gathered over the blue domes of Samarkand. The people sensed that another great struggle was approaching. The city that had witnessed unimaginable glory now prepared for the final confrontation. The armies of Timur's son advanced steadily towards Samarkand veterans who had once fought beside the great conqueror now marched beneath familiar banners once again. Fear spread through the capital as everyone wondered whatever the city would survive another war. The people expected terrible siege. Families hid inside their homes. Merchants closed their shops and soldiers prepared for battle. Yet according to the legend, something unexpected happened. When the army reached Samarkand, the city gates stood open. No battle began. No arrows filled the sky. The capital surrounded without resistance, bringing Khalil Sultan's short reign to an end. Khalil Sultan and his beloved queen were taken into custody. Many expected public execution. Instead, the new ruler chose a different path. The couple would be spared, but never again allowed to rule. The former ruler and his beloved were sent away to the ancient city Ray in Persia. The palace, the throne, and the wealth of Samarkand were left behind forever. Only their love remained. Far from the glory of Samarkand, the couple lived quietly. According to historical tradition, Khalil Sultan never forgot the city he had ruled, while his greatest comfort remained the woman for whom he had sacrificed everything. Years later, death finally reunited them with history. Tradition tells us that they were buried beside one another, their love surviving long after their kingdom had disappeared. The legend lives always. Whether every detail of his story is true or shaped by centuries of storytelling, no one can say with certainty. Yet the legend has survived through the generation carried by guides, historians, and the people of Samarkand. The Golden Reign became more than a tale about wealth. It became a symbol of how generosity without wisdom, passion without restraint, and power without responsibility can be weak in even the greatest empire. Today, Samarkand still stands proudly at the crossroad of civilization. Its turquoise domes continue to inspire millions of visitors from around the world. And somewhere beneath those ancient skies, the legends of Khalil Sultan and his beloved still whisper throughout the wind, reminding us that the history is shaped not only by battles, but also by the choice of the human heart. Thank you for listening to the legend of the golden reign over Samarkand. While historians continue to debate parts of this story, it remains one of the city's most captivating legends, a tale where love, power, ambition, and destiny became forever intertwined beneath the blue domes of one of the world's greatest cities.